Alexandra Eala walked into the 2026 Miami Open carrying 390 points she cannot keep, and the only player standing between Eila and a ranking collapse to number 45 is Karolina Muchova, who hasn't lost to a single player ranked outside the top 5 all season. This isn't a match. This is a trap with a prize inside.
It wasn't an easy match for Eila. The first set was kind of straightforward, but the second set, Lynette put in that fight, and now Eala's going to play Muchova, who is a very dangerous player, very tough player with all her variety. She's never played her before, so it's going to be fun to watch that match in a couple of days' time. But let me know in the comments below, can she beat Muchova? Now that Swiatek's out the way, because of course Lynette beat Swiatek in the previous round, how far can Eila go? Can she get to the quarterfinals where she'll take on a top 10 player, either on Boko?
It's called wide. And so it's Alexandra Eala who is through. She did some incredible things here last year with the semifinal run, and she'd like to go even further.
The love affair with Miami continues for Alexandra.
Let's hear it one more time, Alex Eala. Is holding us out with sign serves delivered today. It's the official on-demand delivery and pickup platform of the Miami Open.
So the young superstar from the Philippines continues to delight her fans even here in Miami, Nico.
And you just saw her words. You just saw why she's so well liked everywhere. It goes beyond tennis. She is an unbelievable player, but poised beyond her years, and everybody eating it up.
Here's what makes this round of 16 mathematically brutal. At the 2025 Miami Open, Alexandra Eala, entering as a wild card, produced the most consequential week of her career. She defeated Grand Slam champions Iga Swiatek, Jelena Ostapenko, and Madison Keys on her way to the semifinals. That run deposited 390 ranking points into Eila's account, the single largest point haul of her professional life. 1 year later, those 390 points expire. The WTA ranking system runs on a 52-week rolling window. Every point Eila earned in Miami 2025 disappears from her total in Miami 2026, regardless of how well she plays this week. As of this round of 16, Eila has earned 120 points. The math doesn't forgive. 1,525 minus 390 plus 120. That's 1,255 points. That projects to roughly world number 45. Eila entered this tournament ranked world number 29. Without defeating Karolina Muchova tonight, Eila doesn't just lose a match. She loses her place in the sport's elite tier. And that's when this stops being a ranking problem and becomes something older and a lot more dangerous. Alexandra Eala holds a professional record of 206 wins and 124 losses. Against Czech opponents, that record is 0 wins and 11 losses. Not 1, not 2. 11 consecutive professional defeats against players from the Czech Republic. It's been so consistent, so precise in its pattern, that the tennis analytics community has given it a name: the Czech Curse. The most recent chapter wasn't months ago, it was days ago. On March 11th, 2026, at the Indian Wells Open Round of 16, Linda Noskova dismantled Eila in 55 minutes. Final score, 2-6, 0-6. Eila didn't just lose, she won 2 games across 2 sets against a player ranked outside the top 20. This wasn't a failure of talent, it was a failure of tactical adjustment against a very specific pattern of play. But here's what makes the 0-11 record genuinely strange.
Congratulations, you are headed back to the 4th round here in Miami. And to do it, you had to get through a fighter today in Magda Linette. You know how tough she can be. Other than this incredible crowd, what do you think got you over the finish line?
Oh, I think patience was a very key aspect of how I played today. You said it first, Magda is such a fighter, and every time I played against her, she's put me in such difficult positions. So kudos to her for playing well, and yeah, I really enjoyed the battle.
Okay, last year at this time, you were ranked 140 in the world, and coming into the Miami Open this year, you're 29 in the world. What would you say is the biggest difference in you standing here today as both a person and a player?
I think I've matured a lot in the past year. I've been put in a lot of high pressure moments, a lot of big stages, which I am so grateful for and wouldn't trade for the world. But you know, being back in the 4th round, it makes me feel the same as I did last year. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, and you know, it's such a privilege to be back in Miami.
Well, it is so great to have you here.
In 2018, Alexandra Eala traveled to Tarbes, France for Les Petits As, the elite under-14 tournament considered one of the most reliable predictors of future professional success. In the final, Eila defeated Linda Noskova. 2 years later, at the French Open girls singles quarterfinals, they met again. Eila won. So this isn't a player who's never solved a Czech opponent. This is a player who solved them consistently and then watched that solution dissolve as both players entered the professional tour. The reversal isn't a curse. It's a development gap. The Czech system, built on flat ball striking, court geometry, and tactical variety, has accelerated its players through the professional transition faster than Eila's top-spin-heavy baseline game has been able to adapt. Coach Joan Bosch has acknowledged this directly. The tactical brief for Karolina Muchova centers on one challenge: finding, in Bosch's own words, "0, that's a measured statement. It's also a quiet admission that those tactics aren't yet fully mapped. And Karolina Muchova is not Linda Noskova. Karolina Muchova enters this round of 16 with a 2026 record of 14 wins and 3 losses. Against players ranked outside the top 5 this season, her record is 15-0, 15 wins, 0 losses. In professional tennis, no number communicates tactical dominance more clearly than that. A 15-0 record against non-top 5 opponents means Muchova has faced rising stars, resurgent veterans, dangerous unseeded players, and closed every single one. She didn't get gifts. Right here in this tournament, Muchova trailed Colombia's Camila Osorio by a full set, 4-6. Before reorganizing to win 6-2, 7-5. Winning while underperforming isn't luck. That's what a tactically mature player looks like. Analysts have described Muchova's game as, "1. Slices, drop shots, aggressive net approaches, the systematic dismantling of baseline rhythm." For a left-handed topspin player like Eila, that's a very specific problem. Muchova doesn't generate the pace Eila can redirect. She removes it entirely. But Muchova isn't invulnerable, and the clearest evidence of how she can be reached is buried in a courtside incident in Dubai, one that had nothing to do with tennis. Before getting to Dubai, the tactical data from Eila's 2026 Miami run deserves real attention. Seeded 31st and receiving a first-round bye, Eila faced German veteran Laura Siegemund in the second round. She dropped the first set in a tiebreak, 6-7, 6, then turned it around completely, winning 6-3, 6-3. In the third round, Eila faced Poland's Magda Linette, the same Linette who had just shocked world number 2 Iga Swiatek. Eila won 6-3, 7-6, 2, leveling their head-to-head at 2-2. The serve numbers from this run aren't typical of a 20-year-old in a 1,000 event. Eila won 72% of first serve points. She won 76% of second serve points. She saved 4 of 6 break points across the tournament and dropped only 3 service games in total. Eila put it simply: in high-pressure moments, the approach is about 2 on court, controlling proactive intent instead of reacting to the opponent's level. That mindset carried Eila past Siegemund and Linette. Against Muchova's Federer-style game, being brave is a necessary start, but being precise is going to be required. In February 2026, at the Dubai Duty Free Tennis Championships, Karolina Muchova found herself in a situation with no real parallel in recent WTA history. Muchova was competing against Emma Raducanu when, at 0-2 in the first set, Raducanu became visibly distressed, seen in tears, speaking to the chair umpire. It was then revealed that a man exhibiting what authorities described as __quote_3 stalking Raducanu had been seated in the front rows of the stadium in plain sight of the court. Muchova paused. She walked to Raducanu's side and offered comfort while the individual was identified, removed, and subsequently banned from all WTA events. Afterward, Muchova described the experience with a single word: strange. She expressed empathy for any woman or girl who faces that kind of scrutiny. That two-sentence response, measured, grounded, clear, tells you something important about the person Alexandra Eala meets tonight on the grandstand court. Muchova didn't collapse under the weight of that moment. She absorbed it, processed it, and continued. The same psychological architecture that let her console a distressed opponent mid-match is the same architecture that allows her to trail a set and close it out 7-5. That's the mental composure Eila's __quote_5_ philosophy will have to meet directly.
It is so much fun to watch you play. You are so seemingly fearless. You take the ball so early, you redirect so well. Has that always been your style of game, or has there been a coach along the way that said, this is how you're going to play?
I want to think that being aggressive has always kind of been what I've aimed to do. Maybe it's only come out well like in the past year or so, but no, I think it's really part of my game. Of course, I have an amazing team who have really fine-tuned my game and really helped me take it to the next level now. But yeah, I think being aggressive is something that I like to do. Yeah.
(40-15).
Here's the contradiction sitting at the center of tonight's match. The one detail the ranking projections quietly skip over. Even if Alexandra Eala defeats Karolina Muchova tonight and reaches the quarterfinals, Eala earns 215 points. The total becomes 1,525 minus 390 plus 215. That's 1,350 points. That total doesn't bring Eala back to number 29. The only path back to defending her full ranking position is reaching the semifinal, earning 390 points and matching exactly what Eala produced in 2025. The 2025 Miami Eala beat Swiatek and 2 Grand Slam champions. The 2026 Eala is more experienced, more complete. But the mathematical bar is set at the level of the best week of her career, and in 2026, Eala still hasn't beaten a single Czech opponent. The 0-11 record and the ranking crisis aren't separate stories. They're the same story. Every Czech player Eala has faced has contributed to the mathematical fragility of her current position. Karolina Muchova, the 2026 Qatar Open champion, world number 14, the most tactically complete Czech player in the active WTA field, isn't just the hardest version of this problem. She is the problem in its final concentrated form. At 20 years old, having grown up in Quezon City, having earned $1,745,329 across a career that started on March 4, 2020, the same week professional sports worldwide went dark, Eala has said she doesn't take anything for granted because she has witnessed poverty in her surroundings. Tonight, with 110 million Filipinos watching and a drop to number 45 waiting on the other side of defeat, The question isn't whether Eila understands the stakes. The question is whether understanding the stakes is the same thing as breaking an 0-11 record against the one nationality that has never given her a single professional win. Eila once beat Linda Noskova twice as a junior before the professional gap opened, before the Czech system outpaced her development, before 55 minutes in Indian Wells, before the math of Miami 2026 put everything on a single match. Tonight at the Hard Rock Stadium grandstand, Alexandra Eala and Karolina Muchova meet for the first time in their professional careers. No head-to-head history, no prior data to compute, just the left-handed topspin game built at the Rafa Nadal Academy meeting the Federer-style slice game constructed in the Czech Republic. With a ranking defense, a top-tier ranking, and 11 losses worth of history sitting in the space between them, Joan Bosch needs to find the right tactics to put Muchova in problems. And after everything the numbers have revealed, that's the only question left unanswered tonight. Can those tactics be found? And is tonight finally the night Alexandra Eala finds them?